Yeah, it's one of those things where chat is just hungry to see some May play in competition. Like, look, we haven't seen it, so we want to see it. I think it's just one of those things where if something isn't played, it almost reaches a sort of cult status where people just by all means want to see it played.
Okay, so chat, just a quick update on Reunited stuff. Thank you, links in the chat. It looks like Mendo is out of town, and so the other people have some scheduling issues. So Reunited, for the first time, not actually playing because they're taking a much-needed day off. Yeah, I think they deserve it.
That makes sense. So the map bans have begun. We see Mixup taking out Volskaya, Melty taking out Temple of Anubis.
Not surprising to see the control points maps go down absolutely first. Volskaya, Anubis, and Hanamura are now all gone. It was an idea we toyed with, and the internal discussions at GosuGamers is just taking the control point maps out of the system. But we're kind of the mindset as an organization that we'd like to see the scene and the meta evolve organically without doing any sort of tinkering on our end to try to keep ourselves out of it as much as possible. Lijiang Tower next out, banned by Mixup.
Yep, so right now, no real surprises in the capture point maps and King of the Hill maps being taken out very quickly. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mixup take out Nepal here just to complete the set. And there it is, Nepal going down. So now we're left with Gibraltar, Hollywood, Kings Row, and Numbani. So after the next map is banned, everything that remains will be in the map pool for the next set. I kind of think Gibraltar might get banned here, but you never know.
Yeah, we didn't get to see Dorado last time, but I think we should see a new map. Yep, we're definitely going to see a new map with Numbani out.
Yep, Numbani gang taken out. So Gibraltar is in the pool. Both teams are going to get one more ban each, and that will simply decide what the first map is. But all these maps are now on the table, particularly for the losing team. Should they want to go say, hey, we lost on Hollywood, let's go something a little bit more sniper friendly or something like Gibraltar? They have that option.
Hollywood's last point is so sniper friendly.
And I know it's, you know, the interesting thing is that teams have been sort of adapting around that, where they go, okay, they're going to switch to a sniper in the last point. We'll just send someone in the back to deal with it because we think they're going to do it. There's sort of a meta game evolving
well,
there.
Here's the good news. We're going to a new map first, for sure. So Kings Row still in the pool. It is out for now. Gibraltar still in the pool. We are not going there first. We are going to Hollywood.
Hollywood going to be the first map of Mixup versus Melty. And Melty with the last ban there, so that's a map that Melty feels good on. And in fact, we've seen Melty put on some very good defenses on Hollywood in the past as well.
Yeah, Melty defense, they're going to run a Symmetra, they're going to get that teleporter up, and it's really just up to Mixup to see if they're going to be able to negate the value of that teleporter, because the teleporters we saw from Melty in the last two maps were just ultimate value, timed perfectly. Almost a full reinforce, at least 5 or 4 people through each teleporter each time, and just timed perfectly. They almost were giving up the point. They just got it up in time and able to get there. So it's really going to be up to Mixup to, you know, it's strange to say, but you have to focus and shut down that Symmetra if you're playing Melty.
Well, especially with how Melty is being so greedy with their Symmetra play. I mean, they're actually giving you the opportunity to prevent the teleporter if you get in on the back and deal with the Symmetra that's in the back, but it can be easier said than done, especially when Symmetras can, you know, be in the back behind turrets and being very evasive. So it's almost a trap in and of itself. If you dive the Symmetra too hard, you could be tanking your push just by doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of just that big risk reward for everything. And I think, man, the Symmetra turrets, it's something that we don't talk about a lot because teams and players don't really think that they're that effective, but the charge that they give her and just kind of the utility and the ability to shut down flanks or at least call out flanks is such an underrated part of her value. And then, of course, you know, it really shuts down a Reinhardt too. Her ultimate weapon, or not ultimate weapon, her primary weapon is able to go through shields, and just some of these points where you're trying to do a slow, methodical push doesn't work against the Symmetra because those orbs of death are going through your shields and chunking your team.
So both teams debating a little bit over the map ban system here, though almost certainly we are heading over to Hollywood. I think there might have been a misunderstanding of one of the teams.
Yeah, I mean,
but we're working
system.
that out.
We've done our best to try to communicate with the teams all through the Discords, and I think there were articles and things like that throughout the week posted. But we're trying a new system, and there's going to be a little bit of growing pains here and there, which is fine. And as long as teams try to understand it, and we're going to try to work with them on it too. But this is a system that we're putting in place at least for this week, for these weekend tournaments, and it's, you know, in response to what the viewers wanted to see. We didn't want to go to map bans between every map, so this is our system we have for now, and yeah, we're gonna work it.
Yeah, the interesting thing coming into this next game too is that I actually don't know who to favor here. I feel like, looking at their history and everything else, I actually feel either team could take the set.
Yeah, I kind of want to see the style that Mixup ends up playing, and I've always been of the camp that North American and Europe, there's a divide between conservative defensive play and aggressive offensive play. Generally, the North American teams are more aggressive, more DM based compositions and teams. We're going to see if that kind of transfers over, because Not Enigma had a little bit of that feel early on, so we're going to see if that transfers over to Mixup. But I've always mentioned in the TF2 scene, especially when teams got together from Europe and NA, the European teams were just astounded at how aggressive and relentless North American teams were. But we've seen that Melty defense be able to shut down aggressive teams before too. So really two sides of a coin here, and their play styles are a little bit different. And we're going to see how they clash.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have seen, it's kind of interesting, we've seen really good stuff come out from the offensive side of things, but I feel like defense is really kicked it up in the high gear in recent memory as well. Maybe it's just more comfortable with how to get more value out of Symmetra, or just better map knowledge or what. But I feel like even teams where one team is greatly favored over the other team, the team that's the underdog can still pull off some very impressive defenses as well. And we've seen that time and time again in recent memories. So really, I think we're starting to get a little bit more of a defender's advantage as people get more comfortable with the game.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry, I was just, I was watching the TF2 reunion in chat. Nox used to be a TF2 player as well, and he's saying, let's go back to TF2, guys. And Hardblue immediately just says, no. So we're in Hollywood. We're getting everything sorted out as far as spectators and everything goes in. But yeah, you could not be more right that this is, I have no idea who to call this for. I would say Melty, just because I've seen more Melty recently. The biggest knock I have against Mixup lately is that I just haven't seen them play as much. Since phase 1, when Not Enigma was dominant, they've been kind of retooling rosters and showing up here and there. And I just have not, I don't have enough information on Mixup right now to feel super confident in them. I like all the players. I've seen them all play for a long time in TF2, and I know they're all extremely skilled players, but Melty has that team cohesion and that defensive front that's going to be hard to crack.
Yeah, and truth be told, even that between teams that are running very similar strategies thus far, we've seen a big difference in execution, even from game to game. I mean, I think my favorite game set thus far has been the Envious versus Google Me set from not the last NA weekly, but the weekly before that, and where you saw it come down to Nabania maps 4 and 5. And Google Me was absolutely insane on map number 4, just crushing Envious with an incredible amount of momentum. And then Envious came back and won in very dominant fashion map number 5, showing that even when teams run similar strategies or have a similar idea of running a map, you can still get great variation from game to game.
Yeah, I mean, the variance level is so high. It could be, a map can be decided based on, the second a teleporter goes down. I mean, Melty essentially won those first 2 maps based on a 2-second timing window that they had on their teleporter to get all the reinforcements in. If that teleporter comes up a second later, they lose 0.1 on Numbani. If it comes up a second later, they lose 0.1 on King's Row, and those are completely different maps. So it's a razor's edge of strategy, which is why we see time and time again the teams that are able to stick together with consistent rosters and keep a team together in that cohesion that is so powerful in Overwatch ends up winning maps for teams.
Absolutely. So it looks like both teams are ready to go, and we're going to be getting into Hollywood any moment now. This is going to be Mixup versus Melty, round of 8. And even though it's a round of 8, we're getting a great matchup very early in the day, and I can't wait to see who wins.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty stoked. I mean, it's tough for the teams, right? These are teams that expect to make semifinals, finals, and win tournaments. Both Melty and Mixup do. So one of these teams is going home in the round of 8, which is tough for them, but it's great for us that we get a really cool round of 8 matchup, because I think from this, it only gets better. Of course, we'll have the winner of this versus whatever's next. IDDQD, I would assume, is going through their side of the bracket after someone conceded to them early.
Well, bracket-wise, we have going here, and we'll leave that for later because we are now getting into Hollywood. This is a thing where my computer just freezes as loading maps. There we go. That might just be an EU server thing, I don't know. But in any case, we are in on Hollywood. This is Mixup versus Melty, and it's going to be Melty on attack first, going up against the Mixup defense. So, taking a look at the Mixup defense as they roll out here. We're going to have Seagull on the Junkrat, Harblu on the Reaper, Enigma on Torbjorn, Pyro on the Symmetra, Pure on Mercy, and Milo rounding things out on Reinhardt.
Yeah, so I wonder if they're gonna stick. I mean, it's definitely it's a Torbjorn map for sure. Symmetra definitely gets to see play, and then Tor and Seagull are gonna be just kind of really playing that. It's a super defensive team overall, and Pure actually, you know, one of the best TF2 medics in a long time, should feel pretty comfortable on Mercy as well.
Can I just note how incredibly efficient Reinhardt is at destroying railings? Milo is going to town on every railing on his side of the map, and then some. I'm just saying.
I mean, it's one of his strengths, that giant hammer. I mean, if it's not for breaking down drywall, then what's it for? But
there's one interesting thing I'm going to note, by the way, about the defense coming out from Mixup. They're not running a McCree. This might be the first time we've seen McCree not run, and I don't even know how long.
No, and they've mixed up their roster, and some of their players are a little different. Not that these players don't have hit scan, but you know, Clockwork I always felt was their hit scan specialist, and he is no longer on the roster. But Nico is going to be running Tracer for the offense too, and we've seen Nico do really good things on his Tracer.
Yeah, and he does have the orb to go along with it coming from bottom. We're going to take a look at Nico as he tries to get in here. Melty with a pretty good position here. They're able to get in through the archway without suffering any casualties. Now they can sort of set up the mix-up defense any way they want. And take a look at Nico. Nico getting the back. Not able to take out the Mercy. A little bit back and forth. Enigma and Puro with a pair of kills each. Turning to a bit of a brawl between Melty and Mixup here. Neither team really getting it from advantage just yet.
Yeah, people kind of caught out alone. Nico doing a little bit of chase in the backline as Tracer gets the pulse bomb on and takes down Pure.
Yeah, he got Pure. He almost had Pure without using pulse bomb. Had to use it then. Will get taken out though at the very end by Harblue. And Harblue, honestly, in terms of players on Mixup, anytime I've seen them play, Harblue has been a standout for me. He's made some of the best plays. He's done really, really well, whether it be on Pharah, Reaper, whatever. And Harblue is definitely someone to watch today, I feel like.
Yeah, I really like that they're running the Mercy here, and it's mostly to boost this Junkrat, turn him into Roid Rat, and just throw out so much damage through these choke points.
Seeing that, we see Melty now rushing in off the Lucio speed boost, going straight in. Milo, though, has something to say about it. Drops the Earth Shatter, drops multiple people. Harblue in from the back. So again, a very solid defense coming from Mixup, just stopping Melty in their tracks there. Good play from Milo as well.
Oh my god, Seagull just got a 3K with a tire going to spawn. I was barely watching it because it was so far away. I just saw the shade of the tire go all the way back to spawn with a 3K.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing you can do to really delay spawns. I mean, just throw a tire in their face.
You know,
Why
I talked
not?
last week about how the tire is one of the least impactful ults in all the competitive, but clearly not. And it also did get a buff through the patches.
Oh, Nico just get picked off Enigma, though. That's one quick pick coming out for Melty as they come in. Melty's going to rush in off this straightaway. Pipo takes out the turret. Nico able to take out Pure, so Nico really helping the greasy skids of the Melty offense as they're just able to roll in. Teleporter is down, but they're right on top of it. They haven't killed it yet, though. And here comes the Enigma. Enigma tries to pop Molten Core, not able to get in quite as well as he wanted. So good offense coming out from Melty here. Really set up by Nico, but this is going to get them point A.
Yeah, Harblue with a really ill-advised jump in there. He was 1v6. He was trying to get in with the Death Blossom, but there was he waited a little bit for the ults to fade, but I think maybe just kind of give it up there. You're not going to delay the point or even really get kills.
Yep.
So a huge advantage right now as far as the ultimates go for our offensive team. They have 3 up, and including the Earth Shatter and High Noon combination.
Yeah, and we've seen Earth Shatter, High Noon, or Deadeye together do a lot of work just in general. That being said, we have a Junkrat tire coming out. Seagull still on the Junkrat. Taking a look at the tire. The tire is winding its way around the back, taking a bit of a interesting road, but it takes out Nico. He's able... Yep. It's a sort of a gambling man sitting on the tire now, because if it gets killed, it does no damage, but you can always explode it early, and it has a pretty big damage fall off. So Seagull definitely exploiting the tire at the right time, because it was almost about to die.
Yeah, we see so many switch ups, and that's just kind of endemic of Hollywood here, is that this phase of the map is completely different than the first phase of the map. Milo goes on to Diva to take this high ground as a tank, which is really smart. Nico now off a Tracer onto 76, while Nigma is running a Tracer on the defense.
And we also have a Genji switch up here. D-Gun on the Zenyatta, or sorry, Genji in the back. Will get taken up by Milo. Right now, slightly in favor of Melty, but really the main thing is they need to push a payload. They have Reinhardt on top of the payload. See an offensive sound barrier coming out. Really, the fight is taking place here, there, and everywhere.
The offensive sound barrier was actually forced out. Nox had to use it just to save himself and bot as they try to retreat here.
Yeah, and they got some decent payload pushing, but it wasn't really enough. Mixup able to sort of use the roofs of Hollywood to their advantage and really make it very difficult for Melty to push forward as they would like.
Yeah, I mean, this high ground has to be the first priority here. They have to take it. You absolutely cannot ignore it. And now here comes a Pharah, too.
Oh, I'm getting up by the... Yeah, not only Pharah, Heartblue is about to have his ultimate. I can't wait to see what Heartblue does here. Heartblue had great barrages the recent times I've seen him play.
Another 2K on his tire.
Yeah. Yep, the tire just walked right in there. They weren't able to kill it. So that's going to be 2 kills for Junkrat.
That extra 50 health that tire got makes it so much harder to deal with.
I'm going to know, too, speaking of another switch-ups, Nigma's able to get into the back without using Pulse Bomb and clean up 2 kills as Tracer. So some big defensive switch-ups coming up from Mixup, but they're doing a lot of work here as Melty has really been without success going through this point of Hollywood.
Yeah, it looks like they are going to kind of just ignore the high ground here. They're just going to roll with the shield. Enigma gets in behind and a Pulse Bomb takes down 2.
Yeah, really nice defensive Tracer. I mean, take a look at Heartblue. Heartblue's ready to come in with a barrage. He's just going to blow it on Reinhardt outright. Down goes Reinhardt. And again, Melty going to be finding themselves pushed far back. And the payload just sort of stuck here for the last 3 minutes of play.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of where we're seeing that the Winston nerf is really hurting. Ideally, on offense, you want to run a Winston or 2 to try to take these rooftops back. And then from there, push the point below. But they've been unable to unlodge Milo from these roofs.
Yep, so taking a look at this here. We do have another Junkrat tire coming out, so looking at the tire as it winds its way over. Has people in sights, picks up 2 kills off the tire. There will be a Resurrect there, but that's for the defense. So the defense, again, looking pretty strong here.
Absolutely dominating with this tire right now. Not only did it kill 2 people, but it forced out the Transcendence, which is an ultimate they're not going to have to push through next time.
Yeah, so Melty, time starting to slip away from there. They have 2 minutes left, but they've just been stuck in the streets there at Hollywood without, and regardless of what switch-ups has done here, they just haven't been able to make it work just yet.
No, and now, it's odd because Mixup's actually abandoning this high ground, taking the second stage of the roof instead, Oh,
and we have a switch-up here, so we have D-Gun now going to Pharah. We have 2 Pharahs in this game, something we have not seen in a long time. Take a look at this Enigma, able to get in on the Lucio again. A good Tracer play coming out of Enigma. So now Lucio's going to be down for this entire push, and look at that. Have we ever seen another full team get on top of the roof like this on Hollywood before? I feel like this is new.
Usually you send 1 or 2 up there who can really hold the high ground, but they're holding the high ground as a team, and it seems that Melty's figured out the only counter to this Pharah combination is to run your own Pharah.
Oh, and there comes the tire, killing the McCree at the very end. Didn't even show up in the kill feed, but saw it there. So the tire has been a thorn in Melty's side, among other things. I feel like there's multiple things that they worry about here. The Tracer's been getting good solid picks on multiple pushes. They've had to deal with the tire. They've had to deal with Heartblue, and they just haven't had an answer for everything all at the same time.
Damage boost on the explosive projectile classes, Muno can walk in with his Reinhardt, but by the time they get in fighting position, that shield is absolutely destroyed.
I see Nico coming in, is going to bring out the Dragon Blade for Melty, but doesn't have a whole group of people to go after. Milo takes him out. D.Va versus Genji, and right now both teams 1 for 1, but this momentum just is not in Melty's favor at all.
The resurrections have been going off pretty consistently from Pure, and they're not huge resurrections because they're not losing a lot of players, but it's keeping the team fully stacked.
Pulse Bomb is that? And they went for the stick. I'm not sure if he got the stick or not, but it blew up 2 people nonetheless. And again, this is going to delay Melty's push, when looking at this, 20 seconds, they don't have much time to give.
Yeah, they got to sell out here for it. They do have Earth Shatter up and a Resurrection, so they do have the tools to absolutely sell out for it. Heartblue's looking to get a little peek and get someone early.
Well, Heartblue has a barrage they can drop here. He drops a barrage, but everyone sort of went by him. He dies to Nico. Not quite the best barrage, and now Melty fighting for their tournament lives, trying to get on top of the payload. They will be forcing overtime, and now they just need to move. So taking a look at this, Melty with a pretty good position on top of the cart. They've been getting decent kills. They're going to have to run from the D.Va ultimate. Nico takes out the Zenyatta. Oh my god, the D.Va ultimate killed 2 people.
Yeah, Moose actually charged it and brought it to Nico.
There's going to be a Resurrect here, though. Look at this, D-Gun's coming in. Here comes Res. So, Melty, on their last push, making things happen, but I gotta tell you, I think the tire's going to be... No, tire's not going to be up soon at all. So, no tire will be coming in. That's 1 saving grace, as Melty desperately tries to push here and extend the time.
Yeah, the Tracer is behind, might try to make a huge clutch play. They're all grouped up right now, but there are 2 dead for Mixup, so
Mixup? Yeah, Mixup doesn't have the ultimates to really do this. I think they can still push out here and make this happen, but it's going to be a little bit rough. I think we're going to see a Dragon Blade come out any second here from Nico. Nico, though, takes up Milo without it. Has this in the sights. Mixup looking very disorganized here as Melty, a pretty successful last gas push. Resurrect comes down from Mixup. Won't be enough. Nico with the Dragon Blade, able to pick off a kill. D-Gun with the kill as well. And really, Melty, this is a very impressive last push. Here comes the Tire, though. The Tire's been doing a lot. Tire coming in, gets killed, does not do anything, as Melty is going to move forward and take the checkpoint, and wow, it was looking like there was going to be a firm hold from Mixup for a while there, but Melty able to pull it all together and buy themselves at least an extra 2 minutes to finish this map out.
That last pass, the resurrection was absolutely huge there, so they played in a very reckless and aggressive style, knowing that if people die, they have faith in their medics to bring them back to life, which is exactly what happened. Bot also with the resurrection up again, some good ultimates and offensive ultimates up for Melty and High Noon, and Aerial Barrage also up.
Yeah, taking a look at this, D-Gun gonna look to get value off this barrage. I mean, if he can get a barrage value, they can push this cart even further. We do see the Deadeye coming up. Deadeye pushing people back, forcing them back. People picks off Milo with that. Nico going in from the back, and just like this, Melty is, all the momentum is for them. Reinhardt comes in, picks up a kill, and they still have a barrage and a resurrect tech. So I don't know what's been going on the last part of this game, but Mixup is really out of sorts as Melty's offensive push has been incredible.
Yeah, I think it was the switch to the Mercy that really.
We do have the Tire coming in though. Tire comes in, picks off one, and oh my god, Melty just completed the map.
Absolutely unexpected.
What did I just see there? Wow, Melty, I mean, they went from just getting crunched through this after the first point to they went beast mode.
I mean, maybe it is kind of the negative of holding that high ground is once you get bullied off the high ground, you're not in a good position to defend. You're not really holding far back because it's a lot easier to hold far back towards those hotels and towards the end line of that point too. It's a little more defensive. But once they got pushed off the roof, they were never able to gain it back. The Diva ultimate did end up killing a couple people, but the Resurrection bringing back 5. They knew what ultimates they had up and had to work with, that Resurrection being one of them. They played super aggressive and sacked for it, and then that Resurrection, I mean, you're putting a lot of faith in your Mercy, but Bod pulled it off, brought up 5 back to life, and they were able to roll from there.
Yeah, so that being said, Mixup has a lot to feel good about for that last game. They held off for an incredibly long time. 10 minutes, 16 seconds. That is a beatable time all day long. So Mixup, if they put out together even just an average level offense, they should be able to take map 1. But again, let's not underestimate defense. This defense has been so strong recently that you don't really know until the map is played.
Yeah, and I've said it time and time again, Melty is the team that essentially defined defense as the winning play style. But this might be a clash of styles here. I'm just really happy to see Pharah back into the meta. I appreciate the TF2 guys bringing our little soldier companion back in, a little combo action. In TF2, the core of combos was always kind of a soldier and a medic. You know, or a demo man sometimes too. But we're seeing the Mercy and the Pharah kind of fill that role, and with the damage boost, it's doing a ton of work.
Yep. So we're going to get to see what the Melty defense will consist of here. They will be running the McCree on all sides. No surprise there. I feel like it started in EU, but it's extended out to other regions. Mixup not running the McCree. So they're actually very unique with the lack of McCree love here. It's interesting stuff to see come out. And I kind of want to see them make it work because right now people have actually been complaining about saying, geez, McCree's and everything. Is he the new OP, etc. So to see a non-McCree team win would be something special. That being said, taking a look at the defense in full coming out from Melty. We got Bod on the Symmetra, Nox on the Lucio, Pippo on the McCree, Nico on Reaper, D-Gun on Torbjorn, and Munel on the Reinhardt. So they are also going to be opting to do a Symmetra Torbjorn defense.
Yeah, pretty stout turret-based defense there. It does look like Mixup is going to run Enigma on Widowmaker. Pure, of course, is going to be playing Mercy. Harblue, again, on that Pharaoh. Milo will be playing Reinhardt. Seagull still rocking Junkrat, and Puro will be Lucio. But the offensive Widowmaker here is an interesting call.
Yep. So I'm curious to watch Nico here. Nico has been such a good job of reading offenses as they come in, and I'm curious to see what he does as Reaper on this first push, because he has been great so far today.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to hide behind these trees, which is a popular spot, you know, just to the left of the archway.
He keeps throwing out the respect me spray. I wonder if he's trying to tell us something. That being said, Mixup is setting up. Reinhardt looking to go through the arch any moment here, and it looks like they're actually just going to concede the arch and defend further back. Team's not really deciding to defend too much at the arch. They concede a little bit of ground, but say, okay, you want BS, you have to BS through here.
Yeah, that mortar fire coming over the top from Seagull's Junkrat, and then...
and it takes out the turret. And Harblue able to grab another turret, so not a good day for Torbjorn, but take a look. Here comes Nico coming into the back, not able to get the pick he wants right away, and suddenly finds himself in a bit of trouble. The rest of the Melty team is collapsing. Now Peepo with 2 quick kills. Bod coming in, takes out Harblue. So even though Nico didn't directly kill there, he was enough of a distraction letting McCree come in over the top and pick up a double kill.
Yeah, now they're going to get reset up with their turret. Enigma was actually in a really aggressive position as the Widowmaker, pretty much on the point looking over, but never had a good shot. I don't even know if she pulled the trigger more than once.
I like the offensive Widow coming out here. We'll see if Enigma can make it happen, but he has to get through the Reinhardt. Reinhardt, very much a problem. And Seagull, again, taking out the turret. So Seagull, he's got the turrets in his sights. Nico will take out Harblue. There will be a res. Both teams dropping ults. Defensive sound barrier is out. We actually see Nico going deep in on the Widowmaker here, and both teams just kind of brawling it out.
Yeah, a couple kills go back and forth. Really hard to discern who's coming out ahead of this
Seagull
fight.
with the double kill. Took out one and then just took out Peepo in the back. Offensive sound barrier is going to come out, and Mixup is going to try and push this. You see a Death Blossom coming out from the defense. Nico going to go down, however. Yeah, and now we see Mixup on top of the point, and this might be just what they need. We do see reinforcements from Melty coming in, but they don't have much time to get back in on here, Hex.
Yeah, and they're kind of just staggering in too. I don't think the teleporter, did it go up? Teleporter did come up.
It did come up, but they were...
Though. Seagull's camping the tele with his tire.
The teleporter just goes down off the class switch, and he's like, well... I liked it, though. The tire just sat there. I mean, whoever first came in through that teleporter would have had a bad day.
It's really cool. I mean, it's a really smart move to telecamp. The worst case scenario is you end up killing the teleporter. Now it looks like we have a defensive Widowmaker as well as Degon on the switch. There is no more offensive Widowmaker as Enigma switches to Tracer.
Yep. So Enigma liking Tracer in this part of the map for both offense and defense. I think it just, there's enough flanking areas here where Tracer can sort of mix his hand, and he has the Zenyatta in his sights. Zenyatta in trouble. He's not able to one-clip him, and Zenyatta escapes.
Look at all these switch-ups from Mixup, though. Milo switches to Diva to take this high ground. Harblue switches to Winston. I think they're going to try to take the high ground, too. Yeah, both tanks come in really quickly.
Yep. Take a look at the top. We see Junkrat and Mercy going to the top. It's still damage-boosted Junkrat, doing a lot of damage with spam from the outside. Thus far, though, no one going down, but Melty is conceding a lot of ground here.
Seagull just chunked Genji, and Degon goes down 2 from Enigma, so 2 down very quickly.
Yeah, and I don't think Enigma's done yet. He has the Zenyatta in his sights, and that is not where you want to be as Zenyatta. Looks like he is going to opt for a little bit of prudence here, because why not? They're pushing up the cart and then some, and Seagull just takes out Reinhardt, or Enigma takes out Reinhardt with the Tracer, so good stuff there from Mixup, and they are rolling here in a way that Melty definitely was not. And they have all the time in the world to complete this map.
They've got Seagull in a great position here. When you're able to push this far up, there's only the 2 doorways.
That was almost a great tire. Got killed at the last second. Sad times there. And here comes Melty, though. Nico leading the charge, gonna get a quick pair of kills. Gets in on the Diva. Milo's gonna go down. Yeah, so triple kill coming up from Nico. And we see this so often from Melty, where Melty's getting just crunched. And then Nico comes in and, picks up 3 kills like it's no big deal.
They're a really patient team. When they're getting absolutely pushed back, they don't panic. They don't just start sending people in one by one. They wait until they have their full force up. They sound barrier in. I mean, we've seen so many defensive sound barriers turn into full wipes from Melty.
Absolutely. So Degon with a quick pick on Pyro. He's going to get rezzed up. So no harm, no foul there. The res will be down. And take a look, Degon. Degon with the Mercy boost. So we have Mercy boosted Junkrat versus Mercy boosted Fair here. Interesting explosive play. Harblue versus Degon. Degon gonna take out Harblue with a great midair shot. Enigma, though, evening up, taking out Lucio with the pulse bomb. So really, both teams trading 1 for 1. The Resurrect does come up from Bod. And now Melty's gonna try and push in and clean this up.
Yeah, Enigma with a couple picks. Seagull then takes down Degon. A lot of their power down. Here comes the spike tire.
Yep, tire's coming in.
Nothing.
No. Honestly, though, the threat of the tire, you still have to shoot at it. It buys your team time. Even if the tire doesn't kill anyone, it's still effective.
Yeah, much like the turrets, it's just kind of a resource sink.
And this is going very much in favor of Mixup right now. And Reaper doing his best to stall on the point, but if he goes down for even a second, Mixup is going to take this next point. It's looking like that's happening.
Here. He does take down Pure, but that's all he gets out of that barrage, and that's going to be second point for Mixup.
Yep, and now taking a look at the all-important time here. Mixup has 5 whole minutes to break through to the last point, so they have all the time in the world, Hex.
Yeah, Moon has to charge back towards his base, not the ideal position you want to be in for Reinhardt. Enigma all the way at spawn.
Enigma's setting up the Reinhardt, has the pulse bomb locked in, takes him out. Nice play coming out from Enigma. And now what we're seeing here is that really the Melty defense has not had time to set up, and they are really disorganized, similar to what happened to Mixup in the last game.
They're absolutely scrambling here. Now things have seemed to slow down a little bit, you know, held back by the cart is Mixup's offense. So now we have a actual formidable defense with some ultimates up. The ultimate advantage is on Melty's side.
Ultimate advantage is on Melty. We do see the defensive sound barrier go down. Harblue in a whole world of trouble. Gets hung up by Peepo, but here comes the tire again. Taking a look at the tire as it comes out. Gets taken out midair. Doesn't do much of anything, but Melty able to clean things up, but they have to hold for so long.
Yeah, well, Deacon and Nico did die in that small engagement, so most of their power was down, but they're just not in the position to push, and here we do see the offensive Widowmaker on Hollywood last.
Oh. Offensive Widowmaker's up. Oh no! McCree runs into the trap, ends up getting taken out by that. Nico, though, on the Genji now, so a little bit of a change up there, but look at this. 4 kills for Mixup. That was a corner of death for Melty. They did not want to go in here, and now Mixup potentially rolling to a victory here. They only need to bring the cart a little bit further, and they will win on map 1 Hollywood, and there it is. Mixup takes map 1 over Melty with 3 minutes to spare on Hollywood. Good stuff coming out from them.
McCree came out to the end to try to stall out the cart and got hit with a landmine from Seagull's Junkrat.
And I'm gonna note there was no McCree there, so really they changed up the Junkrat, or changed up the McCree for a Junkrat, and it worked out well for Mixup there. So one of the first times I've seen McCree not used in a comp game in recent memory.
Yeah, the barrage there really nice. The Transcendence coming out a bit late, and that cleared a ton of space. Harblue's barrage did, and they were able to push off of that. Seagull did a ton of damage that game, though. It's a really nice map for him if you're able to get those super offensive positions where the defense is trying to push back in through those very small doors before those main doors open, much like Gibraltar, which is a map that I think we might be seeing next.
Very, very possible. It will be Melty's choice. Gibraltar and Kings Row, I believe, were the 2 remaining maps. So Melty will get to choose from one of those two as they rev up into the second map of the round of 8. That being said, for Melty, I wouldn't be surprised if they went Gibraltar. They looked really good on Gibraltar when we saw them yesterday. I mean, yes, IDDQD beat them, but they still looked very, very strong going into it.
Yeah, it was one of their better maps that they played on yesterday. But, you know, they've always looked good on Kings Row. So really the choice is there is their Kings Row, you know, defense on first point. Works really well against a lot of teams, but against a very aggressive team like Mixup, it might not bode so well. But either map is going to be, you know, match point here for Mixup as they took Hollywood in pretty convincing fashion. They took the map 4 minutes faster.
Yep. So going into map number 2, Melty will now be fighting for their tournament life. Mixup with a very strong showing on Hollywood. And now Melty faced with the very unpleasant prospect of potentially going out in the round of 8. And I know that's not what Melty wants, especially not in an EU tournament. So I'm curious to see what they'll bring to the table for map number 2, because they're going to need to bring it if they want to beat this Mixup team.
Yeah, definitely. And in this meantime, while we try to get into this next map, you can go to Matcherino.com, type Matcherino in the chat, and you can donate $1 to our prize pool, courtesy of Matcherino, with the code GGEU. Your donation allows you to put a message on. Some of these messages are not going to be read on screen, but you know, some messages to the teams. You know, good luck, Seagull and Mixup. Don't let your memes be dreams. Just do it. That's just inspirational, no matter who you are.
Absolutely. And actually bring up the Matcherino page so people know what we're talking about here. And it shows the messages and everything. I'll give a shout out to Taz here. Taz, a longtime friend of mine in Heroes of the Storm, saying, quote, shout out to my boy Syracuse. Syracuse, longtime competitive player in Heroes of the Storm on a whole bunch of noble teams like Glorious in the beginning and Cloud9 later on. See some shout outs to Pluppy, TVD. My mother said I'd never amount to anything. Look at me now. I'm worth $1. And then finally, hold fast. Good luck, Seagull and Mixup. Don't let your memes be dreams.
Just do it. Okay, so that's Matcherino, and of course we're very, very happy to have them and finally have the tournament page up and working. Use your coupon code login, hit the donate. If you feel like throwing any more bucks in the prize pool, that is on you, and we greatly appreciate it. So thank you very much to the people who are tossing more bucks into the prize pool. We also want to thank our initial sponsors, Rocat and DX Racer. Mice, keyboards, headsets for Rocat. DX Racer, of course, you know what they make. They make great chairs.
Yep. So right now we're just waiting for both teams to get set up here. We will be going to Gibraltar, as expected, and I think Melty has a pretty good chance of taking this. I mean, They almost beat IDDQD on it yesterday, even though IDDQD did come out with just this ridiculous force support comp to beat them. I feel like most teams would not have been able to beat the time that Melty had set. So I think Gibraltar might be Melty's map. We'll see.
Yeah, and I think Melty, it was just, they were as caught off guard by that composition as anyone was. So it's not that, you know, the composition is really that great, but it's one of those things that we see from time to time in competitive Overwatch of just a curveball completely catching a team off guard, and before you even know what hit you, the map's over. But I think Gibraltar is a map that Melty could do well on. It's a map that I'll be interested to see if we do see their Symmetra playing it. Of course, Symmetra's been a staple of their compositions on almost every map. Gibraltar, not necessarily the best Symmetra map, but some teams have been making it work, and I've seen her kind of been sprinkled in here and there on the Gibraltar meta.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting because, I mean, right now there's sort of a reason to run Symmetra aside from the teleporter just because of how many heroes now benefit from her shields. Right. Throwing a shield on Genji, throwing a shield on Lucio makes a very, very big difference in their overall survivability, so...
Yeah, and I mean, yesterday in that composition, we saw even, you know, Zenyatta benefits from it as well. He's already so shield-based, you add even more shields onto that, and he has his own kind of sustain there. The composition we saw yesterday in Tankless, every single hero was running at 200 HP.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out here. And really, I mean, after Melty got hit with it yesterday, I wonder if Melty would be considering stealing the force support comp for themselves and running Gibraltar here. But of course, I assume Mixup does their homework. They would almost certainly know it's coming, and they might have a counter to it. So if you run a strategy you're not really all that well versed in, and you hit a counter that you're not expecting, it could be terrible.
Yeah, that counter might just be Mei. I mean, it might see Mei.
The people want to see Mei. I'm not sure if competitive Overwatch is ready for Mei yet, though, but we'll see. That being said, we are getting into Gibraltar. This is going to be map number 2, Mixup versus Melty. Mixup drawing first blood, winning very decisively on Hollywood.
One thing that we see out of Mixup that we saw out of them in their not Enigma days as well is that they have a preference towards Diva a lot more than most competitive teams. And I'm reminded that they run Diva a lot on this map because they like to take that high ground. It almost seems to be their strategy across maps, like we saw in Hollywood too, is that they really prioritize taking high ground above all else. They don't want to fight below the enemy team. They don't want to fight on standard ground. So that Diva really helps them boost to the top. So we see a lot of Divas and Winstons come out from the tanks on Mixup, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a Diva somewhere in this composition today.
No, and really, Mixup running Diva, that's something we haven't seen too often, period, so... I think we're seeing more Diva just because of the Winston nerfs. Winston got nerfed very, very hard, and while teams will still occasionally run him from time to time, he's not quite the force that he used to be, and I think it opened up more of a niche for Diva.
Yeah, I think you might see Winston here if a team is pushing last, because I mentioned it before, Winston on this last point when teams are trying to come out of spawn, if he's in Primal Rage, it pretty much just shuts the door. It absolutely is just a primate barrier that no one can get through. But it looks like on defense, they might even run a Roadhog here. An interesting first pick. Milo's going to be on Roadhog. Mercy is going to be played by Pure. Pyro will be on Zenyatta. Hardblue, of course, on Pharah. Enigma will be playing the Reaper, and Seagull on Soldier 76.
Well, taking a look at the offense coming out now from Melty. We got Munel on the Reinhardt, Nico on the Genji, Nox on Lucio, D-Gun on the Widowmaker, Peepo on McCree, and Bod on Zenyatta. So I'm curious to see what D-Gun will do here as Widow. Watching Widows early on, of course, is very exciting. And Hardblue has got to be in the sight. That being said, Milo takes out Nox very quickly. Nox just a little bit out of sorts, and this is a quick Lucio pick for Mixup.
Yeah, Nico, I mean, they're just trading kills back and forth now, and Enigma finally chains together a couple and takes down both power classes for Melty.
Yeah, Enigma is able to get right back on the back line, pick off 2 kills, and now Melty just sort of has to regroup. That being said, Mixup has to be careful. You don't want to be too aggro here just because of how long the run back is relative to where everything is.
Yeah, it's a pretty aggressive stance. I mean, holding right on this ramp here, and it looks like Melty's had enough of it. They're going to boost out with Reinhardt. People gets a kill on Enigma right away. This might snowball.
Yeah, but Hardblue saying, no, it's not going to snowball as he takes out 2 people real quick. Again, Hardblue, I think, having one of the more impressive Pharahs in comp play thus far. So we're going to see what he does there. That being said, Melty is going to get some free push, but it's so hard to hold that far up to begin with that really Mixup bought a lot of time for themselves anyways.
And it was actually kind of cool
because
they knew how fast that resurrection charges, and they just had faith in Pure to stay alive and keep them back to life. So, you know, the walk wasn't even going to happen. So instead of a Symmetra teleporter, you have the Mercy resurrection, functions similarly, you know, in terms of reinforcing.
Yep, taking a look here. We have Harblue looking for some poke, but not wanting to be too aggro. I think he's very aware of the Widowmaker that wants to end his life. Nico going pretty deep in, will get taken out. A little bit aggro from there, and now Melty sort of going further back here. They don't want to get dropped down on by Enigma and Harblue.
Yeah, they're pulling very far back. I think they're probably waiting for a pick or two from D-Gun.
Very, very likely. This is hard, though, because Mixup is positioning in such a way that the picks will not come easy the Widow here. Of course, as I say that, Reaper pokes in. That actually could have been Dead Reaper. And it is a Dead Reaper, courtesy of Nico. Offensive Sound Barrier is out, and here comes Melty. Melty on the prowl. They have the Deadeye coming out. Deadeye takes out one as well. And this is a great push coming in. Seagull activating the Tac Visor is going to take out one. Can he get more? No, he's going to get sniped out. Very risky snipe from D-Gun.
When you hear "Let's break it down" from Melty's side, you have to just it's got to strike fear in your hearts. Every big push that they come always is prefaced by that sound barrier. They're so patient with it. They only fight when they have advantage.
Well, the interesting thing there is what a razor's edge it was between D-Gun and Seagull, because if D-Gun didn't hit his snipe immediately, he would have died the Tac Visor literally about a half second later. That is a very close matchup. Take a look at D-Gun here. D-Gun still on the Widowmaker, still looking to make things happen. Looking for the fair pick, looking for the 76 pick if possible. Not going to get either just yet. And really a lot riding on the hit scan aim of D-Gun right now.
Yeah, they took the shuttle, but, you know, Mixup is not going to concede that high ground. They put both Seagull and Enigma back on the shuttle, so now the defense is going to be able to stabilize, and they're going to push Melty all the way back, and this gets really rough, trying to break through these doors.
Yeah, we do see a switch up here. Seagull now on the Diva, or sorry, not Seagull, but Enigma now on the Diva, deciding to say goodbye to the Reaper for now, and making a lot of space in the progress. I mean, even when Diva isn't killing you, she could still get in your face and push you back, which is really what the defense wants anyways.
Yeah, so Melty is going to have a concentrated push through these points. It gets really hard to figure out which door is going to be safe to push through. They elect for the bottom left.
Oh, Harblue with a good direct rocket takes out Nico, goes for the barrage, gets taken up by Peepoo. Barrage not quite as good. He will get resurrected very quickly here, and gonna try and make something happen. Milo taking out people with the fire strike, and now here comes Mixup again on the defense, and this is looking good for them.
Yeah, they have to. Melty does have to have some plan on how to take back this shuttle, because as I mentioned before the map started, that Mixup seems to really prefer just holding and taking this high ground, and they have prioritized it again in this map and trying to get through these spawn doors where you have people on the shuttle. Enigma being annoying on the Diva, they have to really figure out what their angle of approach.
So in terms of switch-ups, D-Gun was Winston for one push, and now has decided, you know what, I'm going to switch off to Diva. And Peepo actually dropping the McCree and going Widow, so I don't know if they just said, hey, we need stronger hit scan here or what, but it's weird to see a role swap like this, but now Peepo going for the picks, almost kills Mercy, but gets nullified by the barrier. That was great stuff. Nico in the back, though, with the Dragon Blade, has 76 in his sights, will take out 76 before dying the Harblue. Both teams firing shots at each other here, as Melty desperately tries to move the payload.
The important thing is they cleared off that shuttle first while Muno's trying to do a little push on the bottom, so at least they feel kind of safe. Seagull, though, does get to the top, and he's got Tactical Visor up.
Taking a look at Seagull here. Tac Visor is up, takes out Nox, looking for more if possible, but he has to be careful. Lots of people potentially able to focus on him. Is going to take out Munel, and Enigma and Milo finishing out the set. That's 4 players down for Melty now. And it was looking like a good push for them to start things out, but they're not quite able to get over the last part of the hangar.
Yeah, Enigma being so annoying on this Diva. It's just kind of holding the doorways. It's often a position that we see a more offensive class in, kind of holding the door, giving his team the intel of where the push is coming from.
Yeah, taking a look at this coming out from the Widow. The Widow is going to be looking for extra picks here if possible. Has the fair inner sights, not able to take her out though. She landed hits, just it was a little bit off from the head. That has to be soul-crushingly frustrating for Peepo. And Melty is going to move up, though, off this damage. It does push people back a little bit. We see D-Gun was far deep, did end up killing himself with his own rocket. Defensive Transcendence is on. Now Mixup might be interested in pushing this back.
Yeah, I thought they had a window there where Enigma actually did die out of his mech, and so that was one tank down. There was no one on the high ground to really push, so they did try to get some time on the cart, but a little too scattered there and unable to get any progress.
Yep. So taking a look at this, we see Nico on the way back. He does have Discord Orb on, though, and having permanent Discord Orb on you on a Genji, especially with 150 HP, is really brutal. Like, a small breeze will kill you, and just like that, Harblue, one rocket takes him out. Nico is now down in the back. We do see the offensive sound barrier coming out. Melty gonna try and make something of this here, but take a look at this. Harblue has barrage. He can be looking to just jump up over and use an A point, but really a Mixup being very disciplined here and saying, you know, we don't even need the deep dive view because you have the onus is on you to get past that point, not for us to push in deeper.
I wonder.
And Harblu takes out Bod. He's been on serious point here.
I wonder how long they stick with this Widowmaker on offense. They are not getting any value out of it.
It's weird because if from People's perspective, feeling like it's been close.
Yeah.
But that being said, he just switched off to McCree. It's weird because you look at it, he was hitting shots. He was just a little bit off from the head hitbox. And that little tiny variation aim makes all the difference in the world. It's between a one shot and the person just living.
Yeah, and in a competitive setting, that person living is enough to get them back to full health with the supports.
Yeah, taking a look, we do have the D.Va in the back. Really, the offensive deep from the defense, so to speak, has been doing a lot of work. Enigma is super deep back, but he's a big distraction. Milo gonna take out Pipu, and Pyro takes out Bod. There will be no resurrect. And again, multiple kills coming down for the mix-up side, and Melty's just gonna have to. But look at this, they're pushing the payload. Well, all that was going, they're backdooring the payload. Moonhell just got a ton of payload push there while the rest of his team was getting killed. That was
we've seen Mixup fall victim to the back cap before, and I guess a backpack on King's Row, and again, not really prioritizing the payload there. It gets some decent progress. It sets them up to be able to push this point to last in the next 90 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, you don't expect the stealth diva, but that is what just happened, and now Enigma gonna have to back up a little bit as Melty resets up here, but look at the defensive ult situation.
Yeah.
Every defensive ult in the game is up, and again, Harblu with a long-range rocket kill takes out D-Gun. And Harblu has just been playing so well this game.
Yeah, that's a rough way to start a push for Melty here, but they are going to go ahead with the push anyway. Nico gets in deep on Seagull. He gets deep on everyone,
Yep.
says the orb.
Seagull gets rezzed immediately, though, and now Nico, with the orb just somehow staying alive for a while, is going to eventually go down. Here comes Melty. Melty wants to make something happen in this push because they know they don't have that much time remaining. Seagull takes kill feed just going crazy off the D.Va explosions, but things are going in favor of Mixup here. Because the only one left, I think... Nope, there was a full wipe.
Yeah, they have maybe one decent push left in them, but the defense is going to be absolutely set up. Harblu and the Mercy buff on top of this shuttle has been absolutely brutal to deal with. You saw last time...
He's gotten so many free picks just off long-range rockets to the doors. It's been insane. And now he's going to look for a barrage. He feels it. He knows that they're going to get a little bit reckless coming in, so now he just has to find the right moment. But Pure's going to go down. That's going to mean there's no res. That's a really nice push coming up from Melty, and this might be deja vu on map number 2. That being said, Harblu saying nuts that. Pair of 3 kills coming out for Mixup, and it's looking like they're going to hold successfully in the hangar.
I liked the strategy, and the concept of it was great to sound boost, to sound barrier in, boost and take the shuttle with your D.Va. It just didn't work out execution-wise, and Mixup with a pretty good hold.
Yeah, it looked really, really strong for them.
But you're right, Harblu got so many free kills by just spamming those doorways, and that's part of the problem with Gibraltar, why some teams don't like this map, is it's so hard to push in. Damage boost rockets on the doors can get free picks just without even much effort at all.
Yep. So, now, all Mixup has to do to win this set is they merely need to get past the hangar phase, and should they do that, they will move on to most likely fight Flat Earth in the semifinals.
Yeah, which should be a great matchup too. And Melty on the verge of going out in this round of 8. I definitely favor Mixup here just because they looked so strong in that shuttle phase on defense. Now, of course, it's a different game on offense, trying to take that hangar and take that shuttle. But since they prioritize fighting with high ground, I mean, that's all that phase is about, right? So I tend to like them. And again, that D.Va play came into the mix.
D.Va play did do work really on both ends. It's kind of funny. The sneaky D.Va in the back did a lot of work. If Melty could have put together a slightly better push, I think they could have at least gotten to the next checkpoint off that. But Mixup's defense able to hold very strong there, and now they've set themselves up for a potentially very great offensive run here. And Hex, do you see what I see?
No.
Look at the offense here. They could be running into very IDDQD-esque offensive comp here for Gibraltar.
I was just looking at the Roadhog and then I just kind of glanced it over. But yeah, the double Zenyatta, Tracer, Symmetra, and Genji. And so the only thing different from this composition than yesterday's IDDQD tankless mix is, well, they're running a tank and they're not running a Lucio, but this is very similar to the offensive composition we saw yesterday.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see if it will work out for them. Of course, IDD had a lot of time to practice it. Perhaps Mixup not quite as much time to practice it, but the core components are there. The only thing that's missing, though, is that they're running a Roadhog with it rather than Lucio, so it's not quite 4 supports there. It's 3 supports and a Roadhog.
Yeah, the Lucio was kind of hanging back a little bit and just hanging out with the Zenyatas to keep them as healthy as possible. Of course, Zenyatta can recharge with his shields, but that takes some time. A low health pool as is. Milo has run Roadhog before, and that might just be they might just be trying to isolate targets here. Just pull a hook, then swarm, pull a hook and swarm. We'll see what Melty has to deal with this. Melty, one of the only teams in the scene with experience dealing with this composition. Maybe they theory crafted on something to deal with it yesterday. We're going to see if they try to adapt once they actually know what they're up against here.
Well, taking a look at Melty on the defensive side, we got Nico on the Genji, Pipu on McCree, Munel on the Reinhardt, D-Gun on the Reaper, Nox on Lucio, and Bod on Zenyatta. So, holding a little bit further back, this is part of the course for Gibraltar defenses. Nothing too surprising there. D-Gun, though, rushing in, picks up a kill. Nico and Pipu rushing in as well, and now 3 quick kills, but here comes Seagull on the Genji, able to get 2 kills of his own. He does have the orb and the shields. He will go down the D-Gun, however. And Melty, again, throwing together a pretty decent defense here. So it just sort of continues this trend where teams have looked really good on the defending end.
Yeah, they kind of know what they're up against, but what Melty always does on defense is they speed boost in their Reinhardt, and Reinhardt's a frightening character once he gets up in your face, and they just move him in so quickly that he often throws teams apart.
Look at this, though. They're all in the back trying to deal with this Tracer. They're so far back that they're giving up push on the cart now. This is I mean, I get you want Enigma dead, he's annoying, but they brought a lot of people back for that.
Yeah, I mean, this is generally where teams try to hold anyway, is kind of this first arch as well. So dealing with that Tracer is important because you can't ignore Tracer in your backlines.
Nico and Pipu combining to take out Seagull there, and Melty gonna hold again, but they did give up that checkpoint, they gave up the extra time, and really, I feel like for them, if they want a clean win here, they need to stop the hanger phase entirely, and that is going to be a very, very tough task.
Yeah, they do know what they're up against now, though they're not really switching up their composition. They just maybe feel like this is a fun composition. I do like the McCree is still in this mix. It's going to deal with that Tracer and Genji a little easier than most other classes.
Yep, Tracer getting a Discord orb here. Probably going to rewind it off in a second. We do see the offensive teleporter out now, so now Mixup's really going to be able to lay in the pressure off that offensive teleporter with Genji and Tracer gang in the backfield.
Yeah, they both have orbs on them. And now
Seagull able to take out Nico, winning the Genji war. And now if Enigma can land a good bomb here, this might be GG.
Yeah, this is what happens when both of them get alive and get behind you, is your team is forced into very uncomfortable positions. They did not want to fight in there, but the sound barrier does come out. This is how they defend.
Yeah, and Melty switching things up in their favor here. They are going to take out the offensive teleporter. Seagull, though, still hanging in there in the back, is going to force out the defensive transcendence. So even though he died, that was still a good play by Seagull to at least make Zenyatta pull that out. And now, you know, it's turning into a brawl on the cart. It's going to be held by Melty for now, but a good offensive push by Mixup.
Yeah, but I really like how Melty is choosing to deal with it. Like, they got pushed in a really weird position because both of the flankers were up and with orbs, so they decided just to fight to the left. Let's take out the source of their power, and they went after the Zenyatas first.
So, taking a look at things here, we do see Seagull Enigma going up over the top. Seagull getting poked 3 times by McCree. Has to be careful. Does have the orb bomb, though, which definitely helps. Is going to eat the Discord orb, as he has another Genji in his face. So a little bit of Genji back and forth happening here as Mixup sets up. But the cool thing about their team comp is that they can have people poking the back and then, you know, just sort of hang back and wait for things to happen. Milo going to take out Nico. That's a big pick. Now that Melty going to be down a Genji as Mixup pushes forward here.
Yeah, Seagull with double orbs on the cart. He's both harmonized and discorded. It looks pretty bad for Melty right now. There's 3 of them caught in a weird position in this room.
They're kind of weird position. Take a look. Reaper will have a Death Blossom up any moment here. He's got to be looking for it soon. Death Blossom gonna come down. Will take out one of the Zenyatas, and that gets punched in the face, or kicked rather, by the other Zenyatta. But take a look at Nico. Nico able to take out 2 kills of his own. So Melty not wanting to go down without a fight here as they hold. But look at the cart. Look at the cart. Enigma's pushing the cart while no one's looking.
Tracer's so.
And now Lucio has to. Look at this. Lucio is fighting for his life here because if he dies, Tracer could potentially push the cart all the way to the checkpoint. Throws out the pulse bomb, takes out Pipu, And Enigma making that life worthwhile and then some.
Yeah, one of the underrated aspects of trying to kill this composition, though, is being able to kill that Symmetra. She does get her turret down now, but killing that Symmetra really slows down the push because you have to wait for everyone to come get their shields. Now, shields are able to be applied quickly, but trying to keep track of everyone and get everyone all healthy and ready to go again is a little bit of a time sink.
I'm taking a look here. Seagull is able to take the Mercy. A very big pick. Believe this Dragon Blade coming out here for Mixup. Seagull going in. Is going to get shot in the head by Peepoo, though. That's going to be a unceremonious end to that Dragon Blade. And I gotta say, Melty's defense has looked good here. I mean, they've held for longer here than Mixup did in the hangar.
Yeah, but Milo now is able to go crazy. He goes whole hog and busts that shield down for Reinhardt. Without that shield, everyone is very exposed. Knocks.
Yeah, and now I think they're going to get the checkpoint here. They got to. But still a nice hold for Melty for a while. And now we're going to see if they can hold Mixup longer in the hangar than Mixup held them. Because if Mixup brings it through the entire hangar, they will win this map and the series.
The real strength of this composition comes from moments like this where they can try to ride the momentum, push the team back into an uncomfortable defensive position. That's what we see Seagull doing right now. He's pushing them so far back. The rest of his team is going unmolested.
He's able to take... Yeah, he's able to take out Nico. Has the McCree in his sights. Has a little bit under pressure from the Pharah. Running for his life. Still hanging in there. And is able to dash out.
While they're
Meanwhile,
trying to
Enigma...
deal with that, Enigma comes in and nails a pulse bomb in the back.
Yeah, Enigma has just all the room open to him and then some. Defensive sound barrier going to come down, though, and ruin a little bit of this Raz. But Melty is a little bit out of sorts, as I think this is a pretty good hangar push thus far from Mixup.
Yeah, they're looking good. They're getting a couple kills there, and the sound barrier just not enough on the defense, and this is just snowballing.
Yeah, and now it's really only D-Gun in the back. Offensive Transcendence is going to be out. Here comes Seagull with the Dragon Blade. Is going to take out Pharah, and now Mixup very, very close to winning the map and winning the set. They only need to go a little bit further, Hex.
Not just offensive Transcendence, the second offensive Transcendence in 60 seconds. Because running that double Zenyatta is absolutely insane. And this is the composition, you know, it just snowballs. And it's really good for Gibraltar because Gibraltar can get hung up on certain points going through, entering and exiting the hangar phase of the game. But when you have Tracer and Genji causing so much chaos in the back line, the defense was never able to set up. And that is a round of 8 win for Mixup over Melty. What a set. So we're going to take a second to try to look at the brackets momentarily. We're not even going to ride the truck of tears towards the end. Everyone's leaving game. Mixup back on the scene explodes. Melty's had a rough couple days of it, losing to some top teams.
Yeah, no, so yeah, they're not even going to ride the cart to the end. But yeah, so that's a heartbreaker. We knew it was going to be a heartbreaker for either Mixup or Melty. But to be so high up back in Beta 1, and then for Melty now to go out in the round of 8, that's gotta be rough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not going out to round of 8 to a team of, 5 people or 6 people who just got the beta yesterday. You're going out to a really top team. You just happen to have a rough draw on it. I remember in like maybe the first week of our tournaments that we had Not Enigma versus Hubris in maybe round 1 just based on our random seeding, which was the death of our random seeding, by the way. It happened only once. So it's just a tough draw. Melty's had a tough couple games, really. Yesterday they had to go against IDDQD. They played a little bit better earlier in their first round matchup, but then running into Mixup, who looks really strong and adopted that tankless, tankless plus Roadhog combination is really good. And maybe that's just the meta on this map. We haven't seen it on different maps yet.
Yeah, it's been a very Gibraltar-focused thing, but again, we did see the switch up from what IDDQD ran, where IDDQD, they had the Lucio there. And Mixup said, maybe we don't need the Lucio. We already have 2 supports, 3 if you count the Symmetra, so why not just throw in a Roadhog? And it worked out for them. They did get stalled a little bit before capturing second point, but they went through the hangar phase with a lot of haste. That being said, before we take a break, getting into our semifinal match, take a look at an update for Matcherino. Obviously, Matcherino, one of our sponsors here, they have been helping make crowdfunding a thing. And you guys can donate $1 by going to Matcherino.com, going to our tournament, and using code GGEU, and just to show that off. Bring up the window here. And we get to read your messages as well. A lot of Seagull support here. I got Sven saying, go Seagull, Junkrat for life. Jimmy Newt saying, I'm better than Seagull. Good luck, Seagull Mixup. More kebab for Pluppy. And Mayor Riot.
Yeah, Pluppy and Seagull definitely some of the more popular personalities in competitive Overwatch right now, and the chat definitely wants to see May or Riot.
Yeah, May. The wanting of May, a very consistent thing here, just in general.
I think, I think the only chance we get to see her is if we end up on a King of the Hill map. I just don't think there's enough maps that are strong enough for her right now. Oddly enough, she's strong on all the maps that no one plays. She's pretty decent actually on control points, able to lock out entrances for a long period of time. And then on King of the Hill maps as well, just not quite as strong on payload, and that seems to be our game mode of choice.
Yep. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be bringing the semifinals. I'm not quite sure who won the other bracket. It might be Mixup versus Flat Earth. You won't want to miss it. Stay tuned.